So welcome back guys to another tutorial on Kids Coding Playground. Today we'll be doing a math game. So the players can choose any operation such as addition, multiplication, division, and subtraction, or you can pick a random operation, so I'll choose a random one for you to play. And the player can choose a type of operation and they would like to play, and the cat will ask the math problems for each operation. So let's say you click on multiplication. The cat will start asking questions for multiplication. If you click on subtraction, the cat will start asking questions for subtraction. So today we'll be learning these following concepts in Scratch: variables, custom blocks, broadcasting messages, loops, and we'll be using a bunch of operator blocks. We can later expand this math game into a math racing game, which I did for my tech fair about like 2 years ago, and I got third place on the tech fair. So later we can expand to that, but first we'll need to work on the regular math game. So I'll demo the game for you guys. So in the beginning I'll just say, let's play a math game, answer the following questions, press quit to stop all questions. That's just a stop all. Choose one of the operations or random. So let me show you. When you click on random, it'll pick a random operation for you, as you can see. So I'm just gonna so when you get a question correct, it'll say that is correct. And let's say if I get a question wrong on purpose, like it'll say wrong number. And there's also different modes. Today we'll be working on addition and subtraction. I think that's all we'll have time for. We'll work on multiplication and division in the later videos. So let's see addition. So 33 plus 20, that's 53. That's 40. So if you get it right, you'll get more score, as you can see in the top right corner. You can get more score. So yeah, that's pretty much the game. So let's start a new project. Okay, so we can keep the cat for now, and if you want to make a backdrop, you can. So I just made like a little green backdrop with like no outline. And I just like used a darker green on this side, like that. And I just drew a square. You guys can do whatever you guys would like. I'm just gonna make a backdrop. So this is gonna be my backdrop. And we're gonna keep the cat. I can rename it to cat actually. But in the old one, I just still had a sprite one. But and then we'll need to make some buttons. I already have them in my backpack. Today we'll be making the addition and subtraction ones, and the quit button. That's all we'll have time for, I think. So for the addition, all we did was just drew a square, a rectangle, and then wrote addition. And same for subtraction. We just drew a rectangle and then wrote the word subtraction. And then for the quit button, just a circle, and then I wrote quit. So that's it for the 3 buttons. And let's go working on the code now. So actually first we need to create some variables. So we're going to make a variable called answer to problem. Answer to problem. So make this answer to problem. It's for all sprites. And then we'll need to make another variable called guess. So this is what the player guesses as the answer. And then we have the random number 1, which is the number, picking the random number, which is the first number they'll pick. And then we also have a second number, random number 2. And then we'll need to create one more called random game and score. We'll need to create 2 more actually. So random game. So this is for the so let's say you click the random button, it'll pick a random game. So this is what it's for. And then you have to make score. And then we can delete my variable. This is not use. So this is all we have for now. So let's go to the cat, get a when flag clicked. So when flag clicked, we're gonna hide some variables. So we're gonna hide the variable score in the beginning. Actually, no, we don't need this. We don't need to hide the variable. We can just keep it showing, I guess, if you want. I'm gonna keep the score on the right side. So I'm gonna get a when flag clicked, And then I'm gonna show the variable score. Actually, no, we don't need that because it's already shown. And I'm just gonna make it say, let's play a math game. Math game. Oops. So let's play a math game. I'll say it for like 2 seconds. And then I'll duplicate it. We're just gonna tell them the instructions how to play in the beginning. And then I'm gonna say answer the following questions. And then I'm gonna do duplicate 2 more. One is press quit, the quit button, to stop all questions. Stop all questions, so this is just a stop all. And then one more, we'll do choose one of the operations or random. So these will be the instructions. So if you guys want to make it less saying, then you can just put all of the instructions in one say and just make it for a longer time. So I just did it like this, but you guys can do it any differently. So I'm gonna make a new variable right now. New broadcast. I'm gonna name it choose game. So this is just to select the game. So choosing game. So let's go into our addition and subtraction. So for addition, I'm gonna get a when I receive choose game. We want to show, so it'll show up in the beginning, and in the beginning we want to hide. When flag clicked, we want to hide. Hide. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. When this sprite is clicked, so I'm gonna do 2 more broadcasts. One is called start game, and one is called start addition game. And we'll make another one called start addition, letting the player know it'll start the addition. Start addition. Start addition. And then when I receive start game, we want to hide the button. It is no longer needed after the game has started. Start game, we want to hide. And then this part is not necessary, but you guys can add it if you would like. It's just to make your game look better. So when you put your mouse on it, it'll get bigger and smaller. So just get a forever loop. If touching mouse pointer, then we can set the size to 85%. Else set it to 100. There are many other ways to do it, but the other ways are a little bit more difficult, so this is just an easier way of doing it. So now let's go back to the cat. So for the cat, we're going to have to make some custom blocks. So we're going to get a new custom block. Let's name it addition. Addition. I think that's how you spell it, but addition. So we're going to define the addition block. So let's define the addition block right now. Let's get a forever loop. And then in the beginning, we want to set the guess to 0. So the guess is 0 in the beginning, so we set it to 0. And then we want to set the random number 1 to pick random 1 to 100. So for addition, it will pick random 1 to 100. So pick random 1 to 100. So the first number will pick random 1 to 100. And then we want to set the second number, pick random number 2, to also pick random 1 to 100. And then we're going to use the variable set answer to problem to random number 1 plus the random number 2, which is the first number, which you pick random. It could be like 25 or something. And then the second one could be like 10. And you add them together. So you get an addition operator. So you add the random number 1, which is a random number pick 1 to 100, and random number 2, which is a pick random 1 to 100. So you add them up. Oops. Put that back in. Like random number 1 plus random number 2. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you guys can see it better. And then we're going to get a repeat until. So we're going to repeat until guess is equal to answer to problem. So it will repeat until the answer is right. So the guess is what the player inputs, and the answer to problem is the answer to the problem, the random number 1 plus the random number 2. And then we're gonna ask join random number 1, join the add addition symbol, random number 2. So it will ask what is the random number 1 plus random number 2. So we're gonna join, just pop that in there, get in another join. We need 2 joins and put it in here. So we're gonna join the random number 1 addition symbol, and then random number 2, like that. So ask that, and then after that we want to set the guess to the answer, which is the answer right here, the correct answer. And then if the answer is equal to random number 1 plus random number 2, so this is just a check if the player has got the right answer. So if random number 1 is if the answer is equal to random number 1 plus random number 2. So we get an addition symbol. If the answer is equal to random number 1 plus random number 2, then we can start. Actually, this should be an if-else statement, because if they get it wrong, then it should say wrong number. So let's change this to an if-else. Sorry about that. So you put that in here, and then when I get something right, I'm gonna get a new sound. So I got like a guitar strum sound. Guitar strum. This one sounds like this. And then I just put in here, play sound guitar strum, and then it will say that is correct. That is correct. That is correct for 2 seconds. And then we can change the score by 1, because they got the right answer. Else, if they get it wrong, oops, let me just duplicate this. If they get it wrong, then we'll say something else. We'll say that is the wrong answer. And then instead of playing guitar strum, I got like a string pluck sound from before. Pluck sounds like this. Just like, kind of sounds like they got it wrong or something. So I'm just gonna go to sounds, put that right here, and then say that is the wrong answer. Okay, and now we have to call the addition thing. So we broadcasted start addition from here, remember, right here. So we're gonna go to the cat. When I receive start addition, we want to call this block, so addition. So now let's try it out. So it's going to say, let's play a math game. Answer the following questions. Press the quit button to stop all answers. Choose one of the random operators. Operators are random. So we only have one operation right now, so let's click on addition. So ask the answer, as you can see right here. So 54 plus 42 is equal to 96, so let's put 96. And it'll say that is correct, so it is working, and the score went up. And I forgot in the beginning, we have to set the score to 0. So it will go back to 0, because I forgot about that. And then 60 plus 35, let's say if I get it wrong, let's put 7 or something. It'll say that is the wrong answer, so it is working right now. So 60 plus 35 is actually 95, so it'll say that is correct. So as you can see, it's working now. So addition is working right now. And we can work on the quit button, but I don't think we have enough time to work on the subtraction like I said in the beginning. I think we'll work on that in the next video. But so for here, I'm just gonna do it when this sprite is clicked. Stop all, because it's the quit button. And then when flag clicked, we want to hide. And finally, when I receive start game, we want to show the quit button right there. So that is it for this video. Don't forget to save your project, and you can rename it to like math game. So that's it for this video. Hope you guys really enjoyed. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. See you guys in the next video. So welcome back, guys, to another video on Kids Coding Playground. Today we're working the second part for the Scratch math game. So in the last tutorial, we learned how to make the addition, and we made the addition button. So today, and the quit button. So we're gonna work on the subtraction button, the custom block, and we're also gonna work on multiplication. So I'm just gonna drag and drop the multiplication in here as well. Hold up, I don't have it, so let me get it. Okay, so now I have the multiplication button. I just got it from my other project, so now I have the 3 buttons. So let's start out from the subtraction button, everyone. So everyone, let's go to the subtraction button and let's code on here first. Let's zoom in a little bit. So for addition, we can just copy paste everything, just drag and drop everything into the subtraction. Except we just need to change up one broadcast. That's pretty much it for the subtraction button. So for subtraction button, we're gonna get so let's separate all this. Instead of start addition, we have to broadcast a new message called start subtraction. So we gotta broadcast start subtraction. So let's go back into our cat. We have to define a new custom block. So let's go to my blocks, and let's make a new custom block and name it subtraction. So subtraction, click OK. So let's define it now. So let's get a forever loop. So in the beginning, we always want to set the guess to 0, and then we want to set the random number 1 and the random number 2 to pick random 1 to 100. And the subtraction is a little bit different from addition. That's why I didn't copy paste it, because you need to find if the random number 1 is greater than random number 2. Because if the random number 2 is smaller than the random number 1 and you're subtracting it, we don't want negative numbers, so we have to do that. So we have to set the 2 random numbers, pick random 1 to 100. Let's get a repeat until. So we have to repeat until guess is equal to answer the problem. So if the guess of the answer is equal to the actual answer, so repeat until the guess is equal to the answer problem. And then after that, we want to get an if-then statement. If we need if-then else. Sorry, put an if-then else inside this repeat until loop. So we want to if random number 1 is greater than random number 2. So this is where you detect if random number 1 is greater than random number 2. So if random number 1 is greater than random number 2, then we want to set the answer to problem of random number 1 minus random number 2. So let's set the answer to problem to random number 1 minus random number 2. So get a subtraction symbol, put that in here. Random number 1 subtracted random number 2. So subtract the first number, which is greater than random number 2. It'll be random number 1 minus random number 2. And then we'll ask a question. We need to put 2 joins. Put a join here, and put a join here. So we want to say random number 1 in the first slot, which is any number from 1 to 100. And then we join it with the minus sign, and then we get a random number 2 and put it in here. Else, if random number 1 is not greater than random number 2, then we want to set the then we want to just duplicate this, and instead of doing this, we're going to switch them around. So instead of putting random number 1 minus random number 2, it'll be random number 2 minus random number 1. So it'll do it the other way around, so then it'll always never be negative. And then it'll ask, instead right here, we're going to switch these two again. So we're going to join random number 2 minus random number 1. And then we're going to set the guess to the answer. Down here, let's set the guess to answer. And then if, we're gonna get another if then else. Okay, so let's get an if then else and put it right here. So if the guess is equal to the answer to the problem, guess is equal to answer to the problem, then we're gonna have to start the sound guitar strum. I already have it. Start sound guitar strum. And then we're gonna say that is correct. So I'm just gonna duplicate this right here and then put it down here. Else, we're gonna do this. String pluck and say that is the wrong answer. So as you can see, subtraction needs a bit more code than addition because you have to find which number is greater than which. So, and then finally we have to do a, call the function right here. So we're gonna get a broadcast when I receive start subtraction, sorry about that. We're gonna run the subtraction, call this custom block right here. So let's try it out right now. So I'm gonna save it and then play it. Let's try it out. So, okay, so I have the subtraction button, addition button. So let's say if I click on subtraction, boom, now it will not be negative. As you can see, 90 minus 49 is not a negative number. So let's say I get right. So let's say I get it wrong, then it'll do that. But if I get it right, then it'll do this. So there was a little bug right here. So I got the answer correct, which was 41, and it didn't work. So I accidentally didn't answer the problem right here. It should be guess. So you guys have to do guess instead of answer the problem. That was a little mistake by me. So don't do answer the problem, you have to put guess. That's why it did not work. So now let's see if it works now. It should work. So now let's go to subtraction. So I'm just gonna click on it. 60 minus 1, that's 59. So as you can see, now it's correct. Back then, when I got the right answer, it still didn't get it right because there's a little bug in it. So so the answer is 22 for here. Let's see if it's right. Okay, that's right. And you gain score, and you get it wrong on purpose, it'll say that is the wrong answer. So now we have the subtraction and addition functioning correctly. Now we can work on our multiplication button. So let's go to our multiplication. Just drag and drop all of this code into the multiplication. We just have to change one broadcast. Just drag and drop all of this. And one more. Let's see if I got it all. Oops, I did not get one of them, I think. Yeah, I did not get the when flag clicked. Yeah, this one. So I'm just gonna drag and drop it over here. And I don't know where this one went, so I'm just gonna give it to here as well. So drag it from the front. I think that's why. So when flag click time. Yeah, okay, so now we have the code for the multiplication. Instead of broadcasting start subtraction, we're gonna have to broadcast start multiplication. Start multiplication. I think that's how you spell it, but that's just broadcast that. And then let's go back into our cat sprite. And then, so for the multiplication, I'm only gonna do it 1 to 12 because this is like for kids multiplication, so I'm not gonna make it too hard that you have to use like scratch paper and all that. So to make a new custom block, let's call it multiplication. Multiplication. Click OK. So we're gonna define multiplication. So let's get a forever loop. You want to set the guess to 0. Guess to 0. And we're gonna set the random number 1 and the random number 2, both to only pick random 1 to 12, so it isn't too hard. So pick random 1 to 12 only. You guys can do it any value you want. And then I'm gonna set the answer to problem to random number 1 multiplying by random number 2. So multiply this random number by this random number. So random number 1 times random number 2. And okay, so we're gonna get a repeat until. we're going to repeat until guess is equal to answer the problem. So wait until the correct answer. Guess is equal to answer the problem. And then once it is, then we want to ask. We're gonna ask 2 joins. Let's put 2 joins. Okay, so we're gonna, since you guys can do the star symbol for multiplication, or just use the X symbol. I'm just gonna do the X symbol. So X letter, I mean. So we're gonna join the random number 1, X, or you can do the star symbol. This one. I'm just gonna do the X. Random number 2. So it'll multiply these two. Ask what's random number 1 times random number 2. And then we want to set the guess to answer. Set the guess to the answer. Put that in here. And then we gotta get an if-else statement. So if the answer is equal to random number 1 multiplied by random number 2, that means they got it correctly. Random number 1. So if the answer is equal to random number 1 multiplied by random number 2, then we can just duplicate this. This is just to show they're correct. I'll play start sound guitar strum. That is correct, and then change the score by 1. And if they get it wrong, then we just duplicate this. That is the wrong answer. So that is the code for the multiplication. And of course, we have to call the code. So I'm gonna go here. When I receive start multiplication, we want to run this code right here. So now we have the multiplication. Let's try that out. So save it, go full screen, play it. So let's play a math game, answer the following questions, press the quit button to stop all questions, choose one of the operators at random. So I'm gonna pick multiplication. So 1 times 11. So multiplication is working right now. So as you can see, when you answer it correctly, it will say that is correct. Your score will go up. Let's say if I answer it wrong on purpose. Let's see if it works. And it'll say that is the wrong answer. So our game is working perfectly right now. So that is, I think we'll stop here. So today we just worked on the subtraction and multiplication button. Tomorrow, in the next episode, I think we'll work on division and the random. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So welcome back, guys, to another tutorial on Kids Coding Playground. Today we'll be working on the part 3 for the math game. So I already have my division button from the backpack. So what I did was just drew a rectangle and wrote division. So it's pretty simple to do. Pretty sure you guys can all do that. So first I'm gonna start on the code on division. So I'm gonna get a when flag clicked. I wanna hide. Let me zoom in a little bit. When flag clicked, hide. And then when I receive start game, I want to hide. And then when this sprite is clicked, I'm gonna broadcast start game, and I'm gonna broadcast a new message and call it start division. Start division. And next, when I receive choose game, we are also going to show. When you receive choose game, we're going to show. And then this part is just for when you put your mouse on it, it'll get bigger and smaller. So when flag clicked, get a forever loop. If touching mouse pointer, then set size to 85. 85. Else, we want to set the size back to 100. So, okay, so that's all the code for the division button. Let's move on to the cat. So, for the cat, we're going to be making a new custom block. So let's go to My Blocks so we can create our new custom block. And we can just simply call it division. division, and click OK. Division, I'm gonna move it onto this side. So I'm gonna start coding from this side. Okay, zoom in a little bit. So I'm gonna get a forever loop. I'm gonna set the guess to 0. Set the guess to 0. And then I'm gonna set the random number 1 to pick random 1 to 100. So I'm gonna do pick random 1 to 100. But for the second one, I'm only gonna do pick random 1 to 10. So it's not too hard. Random number 2 to 1 to 10. So it could be 2 digit divided by 1 digit or 3 digit divided by 2 digit. So it's not too hard. So we're gonna get a repeat loop, repeat until. We're gonna repeat until we're gonna get an equal sign and a mod. So what mod is basically the remainder of 2 numbers. So let's say I have a 10 and I have a 5. So if you click on it, the mod is 0 because 10 and 5 do not have a remainder. But let's say if you do 10 and 3, the mod would be 1 because 10 divided by 3 is 3 remainder 1. So the remainder is 1. So mod is simply put the 2 values and the remainder of the 2 values. So that's what mod is. So we're gonna get the mod. So this is just to pick it. So it'll be a so the 2 numbers getting divided would be even. So it would not have remainders. So we're gonna make the numbers not have remainders. So we're gonna find the mod of random number 1 and random number 2. And if it's equal to 0, because 0 means that there will be no remainder, then we want to set the random number 1 to pick random 1 to 100, like that. And then we're gonna set answer to problem to random number 1 divided by random number 2. So for here, I'm gonna put random number 1 divided by random number 2, like that. And then we're gonna get a repeat until. So we're gonna repeat until guess is equal to answer the problem. Guess is equal to answer the problem. And then next we want to ask join. We need 2 joins. Since there's no division sign on the keyboard, I'm going to be using the slash symbol, which also means division. So we're going to join the random number 1, and then I'm going to put slash random number 2, like that. And then I'm going to set the guess to the answer. Set the guess to the answer. And then after that, I'm going to get an if-else. So let's put the if-else in here. Drag the if-else right here. And if answer, we're going to get equal. So if the answer is equal to random number 1 divided by random number 2, random number 1, divide that by random number 2. Then we're gonna play, I'm just gonna duplicate this, play sound guitar strum, say that is correct, and change the score by 1. And then when you get it incorrect, I'm gonna duplicate the same thing, play the string pluck, and say that is the wrong answer. So that's it for the division block. So now we're gonna have to call it. So let's go back right here. So I'm just gonna get a broadcast. When I receive start division, I'm gonna call the custom block division. And one last thing, we have to do the random. So I'm actually gonna I still have to put the random in my backpack. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, so now I have the random block. So what this does is if you can't pick either of the modes, then you can just click random, and it'll pick a random mode for you. So let's get a 1 flag clicked. We want to hide this in the beginning. Hide. And then when I receive start game, we're gonna hide. And then when I receive choose game, we want to show. And then we're gonna get the same thing from here. Drag and drop this into here. this is all the same, like that. And then for the random part, we're gonna have to do the random part now. So this function right here will pick a random mode for you. So when this right click, we want to broadcast start game, and then we want to set the variable random game we made from the beginning of the videos. From the first video, we made the variable random game. So now we're gonna have to use it. So we're gonna make it pick random 1 to 4 because there's 4 operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And then we're gonna get an if then statement. If random game is equal to 1, if random game is equal to 1, then we want to broadcast start addition. So I'm going to duplicate this. Everything else is pretty much the same. So if random game is equal to 2, then we're going to have to do subtraction. And let's duplicate all of this, put it under here. And when random game is equal to 3, then we want to start multiplication. And then when random number game is equal to 4, then we can start division. Okay, so I think that's it. So let's play the game. I'm gonna save it. And then for the cat, I'm just gonna put this right here so I don't have to keep on listening to this. So let's make it bigger. Let's play a math game. So let's click random. As you can see, it picked a random one for me. And when you get it right, it'll say it's correct. If you get it wrong, it'll say it's wrong. So I'm gonna quit. And I'm gonna do division this time to show you guys what division is. So 44, as you can see, it's a whole it's a number that has no remainders. So 44 divided by 4 is 11. See, there's no remainders. We use the mod, making it have no remainders. So that's the good part of this. So as you can see, there's still no remainder. So that's working. So it's pretty cool. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed learning the series. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And see you guys in the next video. So welcome back, guys, to another tutorial in Kids Coding Playground. Today we're going to be evaluating to the math game. So we're going to turn it into a math racing game. We convert it from the math game. So if you have not done the math game, you guys should do the math game first before working on this one. And the players will have to answer a math question. And every question it answers correctly, it'll move forward. If it doesn't answer any questions correctly, it'll just stay put. And the dog is controlled by the AI. It'll just move amount like 6 steps or something, like every second. And if the dog touches the finish line before the cat, then you lose. But if the cat touches the finish line before the dog, then the dog loses. So you want to beat, the objective of the game is just to beat the dog. And today we'll be learning these following concepts in Scratch. Actually, we will not be using variables and custom blocks. This is from the last episode, so that's why it has these. But we will be using the broadcast message loops. I don't think we'll be using operator blocks, but we'll be using some of these concepts in here. So let's go back to our project. So I'm gonna change this music right here because we don't want to get our video flagged for copyright. So that's not a good thing. So our video might get taken down if we do copyrighted music. So I'm gonna show you the game now. So I added some modifiers to this game, like credits and all that stuff. And I also added an intro. You guys can add that if you want as well. I'm gonna turn up the volume a little bit. So I added an intro. It was pretty simple to make. So these we will not need to get into because I did music. So let's go with multiplication because that's the easiest. So if you get a question wrong, you'll just stay put. If you get it right, then you move forward. If you get it right, then you keep on moving forward. So I'm going to try to beat this real quick. 81. So as you can see, I'm pretty fast right now, and the score still goes up right here. So let's finish this real quick. And I made it a little bit more funny, so like when you lose, it'll say that you failed or something. We're almost there. Oops. Boom. I think we got there. I win. And then it'll just say, great job, you beat the dog. Press the flag to play again, and now you can enjoy the music. So that's what I did at the end. So that's what I have. So let's go to our project we were working on. Okay, so now we are inside our project we were working on earlier. So this is the one I've been teaching you guys with. So we're gonna go to the cat, and in the beginning I set the I made it go to I think -204, -204, -58, and I also set the size of the cat to 60. Set the size of the cat to 60, and I'm actually gonna upload some backdrops into this one. So let's go to backdrops. So I have the this is the winning screen. These are the intros. And this is the track, the racetrack. Actually, I move this like right here. This is the racetrack. So this is the racetrack for it, and this doesn't look very good. It's not very proportionate, so I just moved it to the left a little bit. So now it's covering the whole screen. So now let's go to the cat. Put down the backpack again. So I set it to -204 and -58, and I set the size to 60, so it'll be between the tracks. And then for right here, for like every single right answer, we're gonna have to do this. So when after this, when the answer is correct, we need to broadcast a message. Let's call it correct answer. Correct answer. So this will go to the cat when it receives correct answer, so it'll move forward. So we're gonna do that for here as well. We're gonna have to do it for every single one. Put it in here, and finally in here. So that's it for here. And then now we're gonna have to receive the message. So when I receive correct answer, then we want to repeat 10 times, move 3 steps. So basically moving 30 steps. Move 3 steps. And then I did next costume, wait 0.1 seconds. So it'll look like it's running. Wait 0.1 seconds. And then if it's touching the finish line. And I have to get the finish line, which I don't have, so I'm gonna get that quickly. Okay, so I just got the finish line from my other project. So what I did for the finish line is basically a rectangle, just a long rectangle. So if you show it, I put it right there. Maybe move it like right there. Actually, I might have to like elongate it a little bit. There you go. Center it a little bit smaller. And look at that, yeah, that looks fine. So that's gonna be my finish line. It's just a rectangle. So I'm gonna go back into my cat. Let's go to the code. And then if, get an if then statement, if it is touching the finish line, then I will make it say I win. I win for 2 seconds, I guess. I win. And then I'm gonna switch the backdrop to this backdrop. This one. This backdrop, so tell them that they won. So I'm gonna go into cat and then make it switch to backdrop 5, which is the winning backdrop. And then I'm gonna stop the script after you win. Or you can just put stop ball. I'm just gonna put stop ball. And then now let's go to the dog. So I just got the dog from the sprite library, so let's go dog. This dog, I just got this one. So I made it go when receive start game, which is a broadcast I made, I believe. Start game right here. Then I want to show in the beginning. Go to front layer and repeat until it's touching the finish line, just like the cat. Touching finish line. So we're gonna make it move 6 steps. That's what I did. Move 6 steps. And then I'm gonna next costume. Wait 1 second. So his 2 costumes are like sticking out his tongue. So I'm gonna make it wait 1 second instead. And then if he is touching the finish line, then I'll make him say, "I beat you," for 2 seconds. I beat you for 2 seconds. And then I'm gonna play the sound dog. So I just play the sound. That's what I did. And then I'm gonna broadcast a message called "You lose." You lose. And then I'm gonna hide and stop all. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna get a 1 flag clicked. Show. And I made the dog go to -183, -2 for the X and Y position. And I made him hide. And we actually don't even need this show. I don't even know why I put it there. But when the backdrop switches to backdrop 5, which is the waiting screen, I want it to hide. So when backdrop switches to backdrop 5, then hide. Got to do the same thing with the cat. So when backdrop switches to hide. And then finally for the backdrop, remember I made like a little intro of the end flashing in the back. I know it's not a good intro, but you guys can do anything else. So when I receive start game in the beginning, I want to switch backdrop to backdrop 1, which is the first backdrop. This one. So after that, I'm gonna 1 flag clicked. Actually, no, we switched to backdrop 2. Sorry about that. So when you start the game, you switch to backdrop 2. And then we're gonna get 1 flag clicked. Repeat 5 times. Switch backdrop to backdrop 7. Backdrop to backdrop 7, which is the flashing stuff. I'm gonna wait 0.35 seconds. That's what I did. 35. I just experimented until I found the right number. And then I'm gonna switch the backdrop back to backdrop 8. And then after that, let's switch backdrop to backdrop 2. Actually, no, we're switching it right here. I forgot about that. So we're gonna do backdrop 1 right here for now. And then I'm gonna get a forever loop. Set the volume to 40% because you don't have to do that, but I actually had a medieval sound because back then I had another song that was really loud, so I set it to 40%. So I actually did the medieval 1 sound. You guys can pick whatever sound you want. And then I'm just gonna play the sound medieval 1 in solo. So for the finish line, I'm gonna get a 1 flag clicked, go to this position and hide. 228 Y -22. That's where it is right now. And then when backdrop switches to backdrop 2, then we can show, which is backdrop 2 is the backdrop 2 is the racing backdrop, so I'm gonna show. And then after that, when backdrop switches to backdrop 5, then we're also gonna hide. So yeah, that's the code for the finish line. So it'll show on the racing backdrop, and it'll hide on the backdrop 5, the winning backdrop. So I think that's pretty much it. See what else we can add. Oh yeah, and a losing screen. Yeah, losing. So I'm gonna paint a new sprite. I'm gonna make it like a red color. Put marker because it's easy to read. Remember, you lose. Okay, so remember we broadcasted fail on the so you can hold down Alt if you want, so it'll keep the sprite centered when you make it bigger. So when the dog right here touches the finish line, it'll broadcast you lose. So we're gonna get a one flag clicked right here. I want to hide this in the beginning, and I'm gonna make it go to 0, 0, which is the origin. Make it go to 0, 0, and then when I receive you lose, then I want to show and go to the front layer. Go to front layer and show. So that's pretty much it. Let's try it out now. Everyone, I found out a bug while I was testing. So in the beginning, you want to actually hide. I actually got the backdrops incorrect. I'm sorry about that, guys. So up here, where it's supposed to have a one flag clicked, you have to replace it with the switch. When this backdrop switches to backdrop 1, then you will execute all this code under here. So that's one mistake I did. And the other is inside the backdrop, I think. Yeah, and these two are backwards. I actually did it wrong. I actually did it as backdrop 1 earlier, which is wrong. So you have to switch these two. So that was wrong. So, and the dog, one last thing. I wanted to make this dog at size 65, I think. Yeah, I said at 65. So let's try it out now. It should work. So as you can see, the intro plays, and it'll say, let's play a math game. Answer the following questions. Press the quit button to stop all answers. Choose one of the operations at random. So, let's see. So that's correct. You move forward. So it's working, as you can see. So I'm gonna try to beat this dog real quick. 121. And after I beat the dog, I'm gonna let you guys see what happens if the dog wins. I'm gonna like set the dog at going like 20 steps every time, so like 50 or something like that. So I can show you guys what happens. Almost there. I think one more should do. There we go. So now, great job, you beat the dog. Oh yeah, and I can also make this hide. If you want to do that, quit. You can just say when backdrop switches to backdrop 5, which is the winning backdrop, then you can hide. So yeah, as you can see, it is working right now. So I will show you what happens when you lose. So do that, make it like 50 steps. And yes, I need to show this in the beginning. When flag clicked, hide. And when backdrop switches to backdrop 2, I think is the racing one. Yeah, so switch to backdrop 2. So we can quit. When backdrop switches backdrop 2, then we want to actually show this. So let's try it out this time. I will let the dog win. I put it at 50 steps or something like that. Let's let it finish talking. So I click random. Beat me already. So looks like the dog is going pretty fast. So it'll say, I beat you. And then it'll say, you lose, as you can see. So that's it for this tutorial on how to make a math racing game. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.